The Daddy Letters. Letter 11. What a Man Wants. Part 1.
Dear daughters, some women believe that sex is the most important thing to men, and with testosterone levels 18 times that of women, sexual thoughts do occur to men often and with only the slightest provocation. Because of the hormonal constitution of men, it is easy to understand why many women believe that being sexually appealing, and providing sexual gratification, is the most important way to make men happy with them. But, au contraire. The truth is, ladies, that most of all, men want your approval, interest, and enthusiasm in them. There are some narcissistic men whose only interest is sexual gratification, but good men, moral men, want to be wanted first for who they are, and secondarily experience their wives expressing their enamorment physically. They want to hear their wives speak of them the way the Shulamite bride spoke of her husband in Song of Solomon 2, verse 16.
My beloved is mine, and I am his.
In this declaration, the Shulamite bride speaks of her husband as a prized possession, a possession she is happy that possesses her. Quite beautiful, isn't it? Many smart wives have learned that their husbands want to be sought after the way the Shulamite sought her beloved, in Song of Solomon 3, verses 1 through 2.
On my bed by night I sought him, whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets and in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves.
Being sought so anxiously by a wife, is to a husband, a meaty dish that nourishes his male ego, and it strengthens his attachment to his wife. It creates a positive energy that gives reason to physical expression, in a way far greater than the biological urges could ever do alone. The more often and enthusiastically wives express strong desire for their husband's mind, body, and spirit, the less important it becomes to him to actually engage in physical gratification. When he believes you desire him, that satisfaction will sustain him during dry romantic seasons of your marriage, and strengthen him against the enemy who might send women to him, who will go out of their way to make sure he feels desired in every way. Scriptures strongly advise that prolonged periods without intimate activity opens a door for Satan to tempt mates to be unfaithful. 1 Corinthians 7, verse 5 says, Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer, but then come together again, so that Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. But what is not clear in this scripture is that depriving your husband of feeling desired, sought after, and valued, is equally dangerous to marital faithfulness. Here is why. Men are 90% ego, and what happens between a man's ears governs what happens in his body. Appealing to a man's ego can make him your servant forever. An old cliché claims that the fastest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. No doubt, a good meal is appealing, but I believe it is more accurate to say, the fastest way to a man's heart is through his ego. The Shulamite bride, in Song of Solomon 2, verse 3, gives us an example when she exalts her husband's personage above all other men.
As an apple tree among the trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the young men. With great delight I sat in his shadow, and his fruit was sweet to my taste.
Sadly, many Christian, and non-Christian women alike, who are steeped in modern culture, believe in attacking their man's ego, diminishing the status of manhood, minimizing the significance of manliness, and bludgeoning him with the supposed superiority of girl power. Wives do themselves and their marriages great harm when they refuse to accept the Edenic order God ordained of men leading the home. In growing numbers, women castigate men for being rugged and less sensitive than females. They demonize men for their strength, and even claim as much right to warriorhood as men. In growing numbers, women are joining the cultural crusade to feminize the man out of men. Sadly, this cultural movement to redefine men and women collides with our God-given natures. But nature will always prevail, and when it is violated, you can expect damaging repercussions. Repercussions such as homes full of confusion and conflict, marriages that fail to reach the full potential to gratify each partner, and men who devalue women in return for being by women so devalued. You can't take the instinct to bark out of a dog any more than you can take male instincts out of men. You can suppress it, reject it, and outlaw it, but you can't make instinct go away. Men and women have God-given, predefined natures that are complementary when properly understood and managed. God's universal order calls all things to be true to their natures. Therefore, if a woman wants to relate to, and bond powerfully with a man, she must be willing to treat him according to his intrinsic nature, and function with him according to her own. What does a real man want from you? To be treated like a masculine male by a woman who uses her complementary nature to promote his growth and potential. The following are a few ways to give your man that gift. A Christian man wants a Christian woman who is intelligent, capable, creative, adventurous, healthy and strong in body and mind, who studies the Bible, is sustained by prayer and worship, who dresses modestly and carries herself with propriety. She is chaste, does not overindulge in alcohol or misuse drugs, is frugal and manages money well. She is hospitable, peace-loving, keeps her emotions in check, has an unspotted past, is wise, and carries herself with dignity. He wants a woman whose lifestyle, habits, likes and dislikes, are compatible with his. He wants a woman who is comfortable with her biblical submissive role, who is constantly growing and learning. She is committed to learning who he is, and to learning how to build and maintain a marriage that brings them fulfillment and God glory. He wants people to see the love of God shining through the way she loves him. He wants a woman who protects the peace in the dating relationship, and later after marriage, protects the peace in the home. After doing battle in the workaday world, he wants to escape to a restorative and relaxing environment, with a woman whose presence is healing. He does not want to do battle in the workplace all day, only to come home to do battle there, as well. Living with a contentious, attitudinal, quarrelsome woman is akin to waterboarding. Proverbs 27, verses 15 through 16 says, "A continual dripping on a rainy day and a quarrelsome wife are alike. To restrain her is to restrain the wind, or to grasp oil in one's right hand." A man wants a woman he can vulnerably pour his heart out to without fear of it being used against him. He wants a woman with realistic expectations of him, life, and family. He needs her apologies to mean she will not continue to repeat the same offenses over and over. When he makes his deepest needs known, he needs her to take his feelings seriously, and do everything within reason to meet his needs. She never leaves him feeling heard but ignored. He wants a woman with whom he can develop shared goals, priorities, and plans, with whom there is equal willingness to accept trade-offs and compromises to achieve harmony. In other words, he wants a woman with whom he can have a healthy discussion, or debate, about what works best for them as a couple. He wants a woman who is a good negotiator, and easy to talk to, who can disagree without becoming disagreeable. He wants help. Every man needs help, hence the expression, "Behind every good man is a good woman." Men need a mate who willingly moves in the same direction with him, and never works against or undermines him, especially when she does not agree with a path he has chosen. He needs a woman who is frequently affirmational with words and actions, who massages his fragile male ego with carefully selected positive truths about him as a person, and them as a couple. He wants her assurances that she is wonderfully glad she chose him. He needs a woman who forgives, because it is inevitable that he will fail her in some way, wound her with his words, and disappoint her expectations. Knowing his woman is a forgiving person relieves him of the anxiety of needing to be almost superhuman to win her approval. All of us should expect our mates to fail sometimes, but always pray they will rise to noble behavior when it counts most. He needs a creative woman who keeps life interesting, variable, and adventurous in every facet of the relationship, who creatively solves life's problems, has a zest for life and is willing to try new things. He needs a woman who embraces her freedom in Christ to experience God-given pleasures and joys. He needs a woman who is not inhibited by the fear of making mistakes or failing. He needs a woman with a sense of humor, and who does not take herself too seriously. He needs a woman who can create and abide by a budget, one who helps the family live within its means, maintain good credit scores, find ways to supplement the family income if necessary. One who knows how to get a lot out of a little. He wants a woman who values togetherness, and manages common distractions that unnecessarily upset intimacy. These distractions include family, friends, children's activities, electronic devices, as well as church and civic responsibilities. She helps him maintain a healthy balance of outside and family activities, as well as solitude and couple time. He needs a woman who listens to him, and who he enjoys listening to. He wants her to have a good sense of timing, as expressed in Ecclesiastes. There is a time and a place for everything. He needs her to have an intuitive sense of when to be serious, but when to joke. When to take action, but when to be still. When to listen, but when to talk. In life, timing can make all the difference. He needs respect. This means she does not take him for granted, ignore his needs, hopes, dreams, and fears, does not minimize his importance to her, and never openly defies him. It means she doesn't speak ill to, or of him, to others, and especially not in public. She honors his role as a man and a human, by dealing with him according to these natures. He wants a woman who is feminine, yet strong, not afraid of hard sweaty work, but when the time comes, is perfumed and powdered. One who can rise to the occasion in times of adversity, trials, problems, and tragedy. He needs a woman with endurance and long suffering. He values a woman who is industrious, always working for the success of the family. A healer who ministers to the physical and emotional health of the family. A learner who remains curious about life and maintains a sense of wonder. An encourager who pushes her man to be the best he can be. A shoulder to lean on when times are hard, and who leans upon him, as well. He needs a woman who is a teammate and not a competitor. This culture is forcing men and women into competition with one another, and this is destructive to biblical oneness. This trend started as long ago as the 1950s, as evidenced by the movie Annie Get Your Gun and the popularized theme song Anything You Can Do I Can Do Better. I have provided a link in your menu to a video of this show tuned for your enjoyment and enlightenment. He wants a homemaker, and a woman that takes pride in it. Many women take pride that they don't cook, do laundry, or clean the house, and even wear it as a badge of honor. Women who understand God's economy know that the hand that rocks the cradle, shapes the world. What can be more important than that? Many wives are too willing to sacrifice their husbands' and children's well-being to achieve career success, and perceived parity with men. Don't be one of these wives. Be a partner, not a competitor. He wants a woman who runs the home like the small not-for-profit business that it is, and who takes such administration seriously. He wants a woman who is willing to hold him accountable to doing right. In this way, she becomes part of his strength. Everyone needs that kind of check and balance, against human weakness. But, he wants a woman who is skillful with her speech, and loving in her demeanor when she holds him to account, or offers criticism. A woman who stuffs her feelings, and goes along to get along, is a ticking time bomb that one day will explode with resentment. Before marriage, he needs a woman to talk, dress, and behave in a modest way so as not to aggravate sexual temptation. He doesn't want to be compared to other men, and he doesn't want to be pressured to keep up with the Jones. Making a man feel inadequate is a sure way to make him enjoy you less. He needs a woman to understand that words have the power to heal or to kill. To build or to tear down. To bind or to rip apart. He needs to feel more significant in his wife's eyes than the children, the extended family, and friends. He wants her to make it a priority to nurture their relationship, so there is a healthy relationship remaining after the children are grown and gone. I will continue this subject in my next letter. I have given you a lot to think about, and maybe even some points that may have upset you. But please don't be so upset that you cut me off from your apple pies. I guess I will know who is, and who is not upset with me, soon enough. Love, Dad.